It's time for another homeschool planning video. Do you struggle with feeling like you're never doing enough in your homeschool? You're not alone if you feel that way. Today, I'm going to show you how planning can help you navigate that area and more, so don't go anywhere. Today, I'm going to do a little homeschool planning, and I'm going to let you guys walk along with me. I'm going to use a simple plan homeschool planner, but that's not all. I'm going to show you guys how you can use planning for record keeping, also to see if you're doing enough or too much. I'm also going to show you guys how to very quickly and very easily create a general homeschool 12-year plan or a remaining years plan to make all the rest of your remaining homeschool years about 1,000 times easier and far more stress-free. Hi you guys, I'm Shayla. If you saw my last plan with me, it was more of a general planning tips video, and I gave close to probably 20 of the top planning homeschool tips that I have picked up over the past 12 years. If you haven't seen it, you definitely will want to. It's loaded with tips that will definitely help you no matter your homeschool style, methods, and curriculum choice. But today we are going to loosely plan a semester. I'm lightly planning because if I go too in depth, it will get too personal to be of much help to you. So instead, I'm going to focus more on planning tips I like to use and just general planning. Having a homeschool plan is a wonderful thing, you guys. I have always loved Proverbs 29 verse 18 as inspiration for planning. And it says that where there is no vision, the people perish. At the same time, there are many verses that remind us that we don't know what tomorrow holds. So for that reason, I always like to use a pencil when I'm planning. And I like to utilize both planning forward and using the planner to kind of track what was actually done. I think one of my favorite features to planning is that when you have written out your plan, it doubles as records. So my state requires that I keep records, and I know that a lot of states out there require parents to keep homeschool records. So by having a nice planner and using it, it is a great way to kind of kill two birds with one stone, the planning and the record keeping, and just kind of get it all done in one. Planning can be extremely daunting though and difficult for new and even intermediate homeschoolers. In a couple minutes, I'm going to talk about how something that I discovered helped me overcome all of that. First, I will say that I am tackling planning a little differently this year because we have a major life event coming up. I will be sharing more about that in an upcoming video in a couple weeks, but it's top secret right now. So since I know this event is going to take up quite a bit of time though, we are going to be taking a more of a traditional summer break, which I don't normally do. My children will still do math, they will still do reading and a little language arts. Typically, I like to do a 45-week school year. I found it's what works best for us. Kids lose up to 3 months of education in math and reading skills over a typical summer break. And that just makes life harder on them when school resumes. And it also makes life and just more work for me overall as the teacher. So we like to maintain math and reading so that starting up again is smooth and they don't lose as much. Since we do have this major life event happening though this spring and into the summer, one of the things I'm doing differently is I will be planning each semester as I approach it. I don't want to plan too far in advance right now with all that's happening. Okay, so I'm going to be planning each semester as I approach it. With that said, the only reason I'm comfortable doing that is around 3 years ago, I learned how to create a 12-year plan for my kids' education. It is really easy, you guys, and I will show you how to do that in a minute. So let's start planning. So this year I'm using a Simple Plan Homeschool Planner by Mardell. I have 6 children and 2 of them are in high school. So I'm not going to be planning for the high schoolers right now. I already did that. I completed their 4-year high school plans 3 years ago. You can see that video. I will link to it up here. Today though, I'm just going to be talking about planning for my middle schooler on down to the preschooler. So I'm planning for grade 7th, 4th, 2nd, and preschool. I'm going to start out with looking over my long-term homeschool plans. So remember a few seconds ago when I told you a discovery I made. It's a secret to planning that has made each year's planning so super simple. Here's what the secret is. It's in planning not only for this year that I'm in, but for all the remaining years I have left for each child. And it's also in focusing and creating my long-term end goal. So my personal end goal with my children's education entails many different things, but a couple of those things is to have academically advanced graduates that will become lifelong learners and be able to get any career they want and be able to easily go on to gain higher education if that's what they so desire. Creating a long-term homeschool plan, it sounds overwhelming, I know, but it's actually not. So about 3 years ago, I learned how to create a 12-year homeschool plan and remaining years homeschool plan. Creating this was far easier than it sounds, and it made it possible for me to simplify things and teach my larger family in more group settings for some subjects like science, history, and art. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that and walk you through that right now. So here's how I created mine. I simply created a list of all of our state's homeschool required subjects, and then I added to that list my requirements, my husband's requirements, and my children's interests. So if you're new to this, you can Google complete lists of homeschool subjects, and that will help you create your list. Don't forget to look at your state's requirements though and include those. So once I have my list, I put it into a table like you see here. I have one of these for each child, and I simply make a little mark for the years that I plan to teach the subjects. You don't have to do this next step that I'm about to go over. In fact, this next step actually takes time, but if you want to, you can begin this step and go a step further and create another table for each year for your child, and you can fill in what curriculum you want to use. For me, this is always a work in progress, but since I have been homeschooling for 12 years now and I'm familiar with many different curriculums and what works best for us, this part was really easy for me. If you are a new homeschool parent and still finding what curriculum works best for you, this will take longer, but I have a suggestion to help you with this part. Remember, this part is not something you have to do right now, and it's not something you can do overnight. It is something that's going to take you a little while. So it's just something you kind of have going on in the background, so to speak. If this is a step you want to take, though, and you need help choosing curriculum, here's what I recommend. I recommend looking up YouTube videos and online quizzes to first help you find your homeschool style, and then use resources like Kathy Duffy Reviews. That will help you find curriculum that will cater to the style you've chosen. By the way, as a little side note here, the Chips and Salsa ladies do have a video on homeschool styles. Okay, so my style is eclectic, but it leans a little bit more towards Charlotte Mason. I know some people here who are very highly intimidated at the thought of high school. So I want to talk a little bit about that and planning that. Something I really highly recommend is that if you have a child between 6th and 8th grade, I recommend taking a look at the 9th grade pre-requirements. A great reason and an example of why I recommend this is if you intend to start physical science in 9th grade, you need to know that there's algebra requirements to be able to do that. If you plan to teach high school at all, I definitely recommend planning your remaining years left. So basically, for example, if your child's in 6th grade, plan the rest of the years out now. One of the reasons I recommend this, because if you do, then you'll have a destination or an end goal to work with. Planning the high school years for me was extremely helpful. I wish I had done it sooner. I learned so much that helped give me tremendous insight for those middle school years that I wish I had known in the previous years as I planned them. So let's start planning our semester right now. I'm going to start, as usual, with referring to my long-term plans that I've already created for each child. So here's my list. Up here, I have in orange the state requirements, and below I have our family's requirements. As mentioned, I'm going to be transferring with curriculum details from the lists that I've already made for each child. I have been working on a list of books for this year and curriculum since February, so I'll be referring to that list that I've made as well. The first thing I did is I marked off the school breaks, and I got an idea of how many weeks I'm going to be working with. Everything goes in pencil for a lot of this in case I need to make adjustments. I like to go with a 45-week homeschool year typically, but here they only have spaces for 36 weeks. It's okay, I suppose, because I do have this monthly planning section back here. By the way, if you want a flip through of this planner, I do have one. I will link to that below. The next thing I like to do is take each subject, look at how many lessons there are, and divide that so I know how many lessons we need to do per week or per month. I like to do this a couple different ways, by semester, by weeks, and also by days. I do it that way because sometimes some things happen, and for example, like if everybody gets a cold and we're not able to do lessons for a couple days, then having it divided into weeks, it helps me to know how many lessons we need to do per week and month. And it helps me move things around just in case we need to, so that we can still fit everything in and get everything done. So for our first semester, I know that it's going to be summer still, and we're going to have a lot going on. So I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to schedule math, language arts, reading for academics, but I can't divulge too much information at this point without letting the cat out of the bag. I do have big news in an upcoming video, but for now, I'm just going to say that the kids are going to have a very fun-filled summer, packed with some exciting life skills, including farming. So I am going to write all the educational life skills and educational experiences that I know we're going to be doing in here, because those definitely count. This is something I love about having a planner for homeschool. It takes a while to view homeschooling as a lifestyle. I know it took like 5 years for me to start doing that. But when you are able to start viewing homeschooling as a lifestyle, you realize how much of life can actually be made into a tangible lesson that the kids will actually remember. And I know that this is a really generic example, but one of them is baking. You can teach more in a lesson in the kitchen with your kids, baking, about fractions that they're actually going to remember and understand. And there are so many things in life, just daily living, that you can actually make into a valid lesson that the kids will get and that they'll be able to connect with. I'm not saying that should take the place of academics by any means, but I'm saying it should be a part of their education, because that's where the dots all start to connect. Okay, so the neat thing is, when you have a planner, you can look back and visually see exactly how much you are accomplishing in your children's lives. And this helps so much with not only being able to track all of the educational experiences, but it helps to put the feeling to rest that burdens most of us, of always feeling like we're not doing enough. Okay, so now I'm going to go through and simply start filling out the sections in my new planner. I used to use plum paper planners, but when I saw this planner by Merdell, I was sold almost instantly. A friend of mine showed me these last year, and I really like these planners. It is clearly created by homeschool moms of multiple children who've been there and done that. There are spaces for up to 6 children. Mardell also has student planners, though, for older kids, like your high schoolers. So I can say that this planner is going to simplify things for me this year compared to last, and it's going to make planning and record keeping easier than I think it's ever been. I like to have a solid but not overwhelming plan for the upcoming year, but I like to refrain from over planning so that I have some space to write in impromptu lessons that we do and delight directed learning that happens. So now that I'm done with that part, I'm going to prepare some worksheets into my first and third graders folders. I like to prepare as many of these in advance as I can so that no matter what our morning looks like, I can easily just go grab the daily lessons and we can get them done. Kids really do thrive on routine. Since they think best in the morning hours, I like to keep the morning hours super intentional and save the cozy reading time for after lunch. Okay, if you guys have found this video helpful, let me know if you want me to do more videos in the future planning the rest of the semesters. If I get enough feedback and interest, and if that's something you guys want to see, I will definitely make videos as I approach and plan the upcoming semesters. And let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments below.